Hi, everyone. Tony from Hack the Movies here, and it's St. Patrick's Day once again.
Hell yeah.
And once again, we're seeing what the Leprechaun is up to. He's been to Hollywood. He's been to Las Vegas. He's been to space. He's been to the hood. And now he's back to the hood today.
Back to the hood again. The hood again.
Tapes, we're talking about tapes.
Manny.
Yes.
I mean, I hope the show still exists. How you been since the Soul Man episode?
I've been good. I'm glad that you didn't edit out any of the jokes that I had.
Oh, you didn't watch the episode then. Yes, we are here now with Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Manny, what's your previous exposure to Leprechaun?
I had a friend growing up who loved Leprechaun in the Hood. I knew that it was a whole series, but I never watched any of it until now. I didn't know that there was 6 movies in the Leprechaun franchise.
Yes.
More.
This is the 6th film, written, directed by Stephen Aomo. I cannot pronounce his name. This is the last one starring Warwick Davis, the Leprechaun. He obviously didn't come back for Origins. He didn't want to come back for Returns, I think. They were originally going to keep up with the theme of putting him random places. He was going to be on a tropical island at some point. You see, they went too big with space. I feel like you have to build up to space, and they went to space in part 4.
So he went to space in number 4.
Yes.
I mean, by that point, you figure the series is done. Like, they built up to it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Tropical Island would have been pretty funny to see him in.
Yeah.
Luckily, Jack Frost, the killer Jack Frost movies. You ever see those? The Killer Snowman?
Wasn't that the commercial where he had the beer and it brought him to life?
No, Jack Frost is a horror movie about a snowman, a killer who gets turned into a snowman. The second one, he goes to the tropics. But I'm guessing because you didn't see Leprechaun in the Hood.
No.
Which I feel like you're missing out on important film history. But
My friends tell me that's the good one.
Yeah, that one is shot like garbage. And we reviewed it last year. As funny as it is, it's a bad looking movie. But because at that point, I think they were like, who gives a shit? It's Leprechaun 5. That one must have sold really well because they decided that he needs to go back to the hood. And now it has a little bit more of a budget. It's shot a little bit nicer. It looks more like a movie. He gets an upgrade. He's got a nice darker outfit now. Again, I really love these movies and I binge them every March. And sometimes throughout the year, I'll just put them on randomly. And let's get into Leprechaun Back to the Hood. So it opens up on a book.
Yes.
And we're on chapter 6.
I could have sworn that was the first page of the book.
Yeah, you know what? It did look like the first page of the book. Here's my problem, though. And I've said this in all the previous reviews. It's a different Leprechaun each time. Because technically 4 is in the future, so this wouldn't be chapter 6. And all the continuity is all over the place. His age goes up and down. He has different weaknesses, different strengths. So whatever you're about to learn here, don't worry. It wasn't in the previous movie. This whole animated origin of the leprechauns, where we find out that they were spirits who helped a king protect gold. And then they went back to hell, because that's where leprechauns live.
It said the earth. It didn't say hell.
He says hell later, so.
The pastor says hell.
I think the leprechaun also says hell.
Okay.
Maybe it's hell for him. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to go back down there. So he stayed on Earth to hoard over the gold. And then we get to see a priest running around a construction site.
Well, there's a lady who narrates the book.
Yes.
And it had, like, really Egyptian vibes.
Yeah.
And then, like, in the book, you see that the leprechaun is from Ireland.
Yes.
And the movie takes place in the hood.
Yes.
is there a theme to the? I don't know what type of magic.
None of the Leprechaun movies at this point have been in Ireland, except for the beginning of part 2.
Okay, because like old English magic
Yeah.
is different than hood magic.
What? So, I'm sorry. I meant to ask. How much time have you spent in the hood?
I mean, like hoods that you wear.
You want to pick up your book? Goddamn. No, I'm sorry. I mean, not the hood. I meant the hood. THA.
Okay, because the other hoods are supposed to keep us anonymous.
So there's hood magic? You're telling me?
Yeah, I mean, there's people who do different types of voodoo magic, or
Yeah, I think maybe that's what they were trying to go for. Didn't come off that way.
yeah, and also I watch Yu-Gi-Oh! The Egyptians have their own magic. So
Yes, Yu-Gi-Oh.
So I just don't know what type of magic to expect. And is there a law behind this Egyptian lady, or is she consistent throughout the movies?
No, this is her only movie. None of these people are in the previous films.
I really am interested in this Egyptian bitch. She sounded sexy.
I think it's the psychic girl that we see later on.
I think so too, but
Well,
I
anyway.
was gonna ask.
Well, anyway, we see a priest running around a construction site. I like that he fights a rainbow. Like, he picks up a shovel and starts hitting a rainbow. And I'm shocked that hasn't been used as a GIF by people who don't really like the month of June. I feel like I don't want to put any ideas out there. I love the month of June.
Yeah,
That's African American Music History Month.
I knew that.
When Trump became president, he acknowledged African American Music History Month, but not Pride Month.
Well, you know, that's why Trump is the first black president, in my opinion. Okay, and full disclosure, we're pre-taping this, so if the white man put him in jail,
Well, I'm glad you said that. A lot of people on this show think Trump's racist, but I'm going to tell them, hey, no, my friend Manny said.
no, he freed all the rappers.
He really did, didn't he?
Yeah.
I feel like there were probably more important people, but he really went all in on the rappers.
He was always bragging about his money. And then the man had to hold him down because they can't see a black man get too powerful.
And he's got red hair. If anything, he is like, he is a leprechaun in the hood, I guess. So anyway, so he's hitting a rainbow. And then he encounters the leprechaun.
Even if you steal for God, you still have to pay the devil.
They fight for a bit, and the priest hits him with the clover. So this is a weakness that was only in the first movie, and now it's back for some reason. He hits him with clover water, and that banishes him back to hell.
I thought it was holy water.
I think it was both. It was holy clover water.
Yeah, it makes sense further in the movie that it was clover water.
Yeah. And then I have in my notes, what the fuck was that CGI blood? Did you notice that?
I noticed the leprechaun's blood later in the movie.
Same type of effect, just different color blood. The priest, when he dies after he like sends the leprechaun back to hell, it's like just a CGI blood, but it's super noticeable.
I was also, how did the priest die? I wasn't paying that much attention yet, but
You know, off the top of my head, I can't think of it. I think he was already kind of injured before we saw him fighting.
yeah, I was convinced he was gonna survive, and then it's like 1 year later, and they're like, R.I.P.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 year later, the youth center is still not built. Now, that's upsetting. I'm sure you spent a lot of time in youth centers. Can you tell me all about youth centers?
They've got lots of impressionable targets, victims, if you will.
For what?
For Democrats.
Do they do fun activities there at least?
I don't know. I wasn't that broke.
So yeah, the youth center is not up and running, and everyone's really, really sad. We meet our characters. There's like Emily and Lisa, and then there's Jamie, and then we see these bad guys, Watson and Cedric. Cedric played by Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, back the fuck up.
Yeah, and of course we all know who Sticky Fingers is. He's Blade.
You told me that, and I still don't believe you. I haven't had time to look it up.
Look up Blade TV series. Sticky Fingers was the TV Blade.
Okay, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because this movie had a lot of black characters in it.
Yeah.
How could you tell them apart?
Because I'm not racist. I know they don't look the same to me.
Right answer.
Yeah. What was the wrong answer? Oh, I thought it was Eddie Murphy in multiple roles. Would that have been the wrong answer? Oh, sorry. I thought I put the Clumps 3 on. It did help that Lisa is super light skinned, so she's easy to tell apart from the other one.
That did help.
I remember my one friend watching. He's like, "That's a white girl." I'm like, "No, it's just a very light skinned black girl."
I would have believed that was Tommy Chong's daughter.
Ray Don Chong.
More than Ray Don Chong.
So, Watson and Cedric, they shake down Jamie because he owes them money. Then we find out that Emily is saving up money for college.
Yeah, so what I like about this so far
Yeah.
is I know that these characters are going to find the gold eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I already know what they're going to spend it on.
Yep.
They're going to rebuild the youth center.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go to college. And they're going to give back to the community. It's all positive stuff. I like movies with a positive message.
They don't do that right away, though. They kind of spend it on themselves first. Well, you would have liked the previous movie because the rappers early on, they're trying to rap about positivity. And then Ice-T yells at them for that and tells them to do gangster shit.
I know actual rappers who have the same stories.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know a Tribe Called Quest made it into the first Leprechaun movie.
Also, we find out that like Emily and Rory, we see them looking at each other for a second. They don't get along. We know that they dated and they end it for some reason.
Okay, I was not sure about that.
Yeah.
Because I saw Rory hanging around. I don't know what part of the movie we're in.
We're still early on. This is still like the first
okay.
few scenes, yeah.
But at some point, Rory gets introduced. He comes to a cookout where Emily and the rest are at.
Oh yeah, that's way later, yeah.
Okay, well, so we saw Rory looking, but I thought he was more interested in Watson at that point.
Well, yeah, so him and Watson have like a rivalry, and then he had a failed relationship with Emily, and he's got the new girl on the bike. Like a shiny silver bike helmet.
Yeah. Also, what drugs is Watson selling this whole movie?
You know, I don't know.
I think that's important to the plot of the movie.
They never say. Well, I know Jamie, I think, is selling or Rory's selling just weed.
But if that's Watson's rival, then that means that, like, the whole movie's about two weed salesmen.
I guess so.
Like, and they go through heavy beef. Like, guns are involved. They're like, you can't be selling marijuana on my corner.
Manny, it was before it was legalized. It was a different time, okay? Okay?
But they also seem
I'm starting to question if you ever spent time in the hood. I know I did.
Me and my brothers spent a lot of time in hoods, okay?
Brothers like...
They were white.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I thought people you're related to, or as the kids say, your homeboy.
I don't think they would like me calling them homeboys.
Is it this or is it this?
It's whatever you feel in your heart.
Thank you, Manny.
Also, I think we skipped by when we discovered that Lisa or Linda wants to go to college.
Well, yeah, okay. So we're in that scene here. It's Emily is saving up for college. Well, I guess Lisa is too. But Emily is in the barbershop, the salon.
Yeah.
And she's talking about saving up for college, and all the other girls are making fun of her.
Yeah. I like how the more obnoxious girls in that scene are fat women.
Yeah.
Because, like, in a lot of movies, especially back then, they had this thing called colorism where it was always like the light skin was the more reasonable one and the blacker women were the more like obnoxious, annoying ones. But here, you couldn't tell how obnoxious the character was based on what skin color they were. But everyone could agree that fat women are the worst.
What you gonna do with your ashy ass again? Ain't no black people in that motherfucker.
I was going to say, Lisa and Emily are pretty similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, these two ladies, they were like giving her shit for wanting to go to college. I was like, okay, you guys kind of suck.
Yeah, no, but if you're fat, you're probably insufferable.
Yeah. And we say that as two larger men. But she might get fired because she's just not doing a good job of giving that girl a haircut because she keeps changing her mind every 5 seconds. She wanted it curly. She wanted it like, she's like, I look like Raggedy Ann. Okay, so Rory meets up with Watson's gang.
Yeah.
And they keep referring to each other as brothers. And again, I ask, are they brothers or are they brothers?
I don't know.
Is a brother with a hard R or an
Well, early on in the movie, I couldn't. I had suspicions that Rory and Emily used to be dating.
Yeah, that is true.
But also, based on some of their conversations, I thought they might have been an estranged brother-sister.
No, they definitely dated. But Watson and Rory keep calling each other brothers, and I'm like, is that literal, or I never really got a clear answer on that one.
I know I fight with my brothers like they fought.
Well, Cedric hates Rory.
Yeah.
So they have an argument. Cedric makes fun of him. Rory drives away, and then Rory comes back on the motorcycle, and then for one shot, he materializes a bat in his hand, hits Cedric, and then immediately in the next shot, he no longer has the bat. He's back on the thing. I'm like, where did the bat come from?
That's hood magic.
Yes.
I recognize that magic.
That was hood magic?
Yeah.
You just materialize a bat from anywhere?
You can pull a weapon out of thin air. So doing hood magic.
Well, actually, in the prologue of In the Hood, a young Ice-T has an afro, and he literally pulls a bat out of his afro. It's very ridiculous.
Early hood magic.
So I didn't know this is a new phenomenon to me. I had no idea. Anyway, Jamie, he really wants to date Lisa.
Yes.
He's like super into her, and she is not into him. Poor guy. That girl was cute. I was watching this today, and I'm like, that girl's way cuter than I remember her
She
being.
was cute.
Yeah.
I instantly loved Jamie.
Jamie's pretty good.
He was strictly positive.
Yeah.
Lisa, Linda couldn't keep him down.
I love how you're mixing up the name like the psychic does later. The psychic can't remember their names.
Because the psychic scene was when I learned their names.
Yeah, they don't. I did when I was starting doing my notes. I'm like, who are these characters? I don't like look up their names.
So I know it was like Emily or Emma and Lisa and Linda. And I'm like,
Emily and Lisa are their official names.
okay. I still won't remember that.
But yeah, she's always putting Jamie down, and I don't know why.
But the other thing I liked about Jamie was I spent the whole movie trying to figure out, like, where do I know him from?
Okay.
And he was in Blue Mountain State.
You know, my friends really loved that show in college. I never like got into it. I enjoyed it, but I never like binged it.
It's worth an afternoon worth of binging.
Okay.
You'll enjoy it. But Jamie's character was the best character.
Oh, he
that
was?
show. Yeah, he called himself the unidentified black male. And anytime he did some good in the community, he'd be like, who was it?
But yeah, so Lisa's car breaks down. And it's just, when are things going to get better for them?
Yeah.
Ooh, child, things are gonna. I just wanted to sing that when I heard that. Like, when are things gonna get better for us? I'm like, ooh. So yeah, they're upset and they go. They do something that reasonable, logical women do when they're lost. They talk
Reasonable, logical woman?
Yeah, they talk to a fucking
I
psychic.
thought the Leprechaun was supposed to be the only mythical creature.
Manny, you're funny. You should do stand up. So yeah, they go to visit a psychic. The amount of times my mom and sister have said they talk to like a medium or a psychic, I'm like, Mom, it's bullshit. She said, you have 2 kids and they're like night and day. They're very different. I'm like, yes, you can say that about anyone.
Your kids are exactly the same.
Yeah. Your kids are the same. They have no distinguishing features or traits.
You mix them up all the time.
So the psychic knows that she's upset over her breakup. And she tells her, like, hey, there's great fortune in your future, but you must turn it down. And then the psychic, like, faints. And they're like, all right, let's leave. The psychic scenes are weird. I swear to God, later on, there's a flashback to, like, a scene we never saw with the psychic, but we'll get to that when we get there.
When the psychic fainted,
I think she fainted.
it seemed really orgasmic.
She wasn't orgasming. She was full of fright because of the leprechaun.
Yeah, I mean, that Leprechaun, he said that he was short, but he made up for it in other areas.
Oh, I can't wait for that scene. Jamie is getting high with his dog. Now, not DAWG, a literal dog who sometimes is looking at him when the camera's on him, but then when the camera cuts, the dog is looking in a completely different direction. But man, there's clover in his bud. Now, I mean, I assume you won't know the answer to this question because we're both upstanding gentlemen, but I don't smoke a lot of marijuana.
Okay.
I mean, it's on record me doing edibles, but the few times I have smoked, I never found clovers. Is that a thing that happened? Do you find clovers in buds?
No, that guy was smoking lawn clippings.
When I started this movie, I was like, there might be some inaccuracies in this film.
I mean, even before he found the clover, you could look at the bag he had and be like, that is not bud. that is some dumb. Someone sold this guy oregano, and he is happy as shit about it.
So he's upset by this, and he's got to go talk to Rory. Now, we find out Jamie updates Rory. It's like, hey, we're not saying the N-word anymore. We say am I allowed to say ninja?
I think so. I also wanted to ask, is this the movie that invented that?
I don't know.
It seems like it could have come out at around the time.
Yeah.
But wait, when did this movie come out?
Oh, shit. Let me see here. This
2003. I looked it up.
2003. 2003.
Okay. So
where people say, again, I don't say these words. I always say beautiful people that I admire. I don't call them anything else. So it was ninja like a popular thing back then?
I still lived in England, so we didn't have many ninjas around.
Oh.
For me to ask. But
now, when you were in Foggy London Town, that's the only thing I call it.
Yeah.
What would you say if you saw a black person? Would you say it's another great member of society?
I'd probably call them uncle or aunt.
They were related.
Depending on their gender.
You know what's funny? You're not the first black person I've met from there. There was one I went to high school with. I'm like, I'm like, wait, what? And you know what's funny?
Probably my cousin.
You know what's funny? The 2 years that she was like in our school, she started to like purposely lose the accent.
I wish I could have done that.
Because I remember like toward the end of senior year, I'm like, you're speaking a little differently now. That girl was great. I wonder what she's up to. Man, I lost contact with her.
But we were talking about the scene where we meet my favorite character in the whole movie.
Oh, the white guy?
Yes.
Yeah, so a white man, look, may or may not be Jewish, I don't know. I got a little bit of a vibe from him. He comes over to buy a drug, and I feel like 100% this is what you cast me in a movie doing. Like, oh, hello, my brothers. I would like to purchase some of that chronic from you. Like, I would kill it as dumb white guy. I would totally nail it.
Dude, what was up with his hair in that scene?
I don't know. It was like, but then he uses the N-word.
All right.
I mean, like he does it with the A, but that doesn't give. He doesn't have a pass.
He did not.
I love that. I love when he says it. They're like, whoa. And then you see all the guys. It's just a coincidence. They're playing basketball. They could have been playing any sport. All the basketball players stop and look over at him.
I like how the whole scene he had so much confidence.
Yeah.
And then he even tried to play it off with confidence. But once he's running away, you hear, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
But I like that they told him, like, oh no, because Rory's not in the ninja thing until that guy says, like, no, we say ninja now. God, there was some like
Teaching white people fake slang is a fun activity.
Oh fuck, who was it? There was some YouTube girl years ago. I didn't really follow her, but I knew a bunch of people who would share her stuff. And she put out like a rap video. I couldn't remember this girl's name if my life depended on it.
Riley Reid.
It was not Riley Reid. I know Riley Reid. But no, this girl put out like a rap video, and all I remember was that she kept saying ninja because she was a white girl. And I'm just like, this is really cringe. I would have just not uploaded this video.
I mean, also, brother.
Yeah.
Baby. Like, there's so many words with that number of syllables.
The thing that annoys me about ninja, it's like, well, I know what you really want to say, and you pick the closest thing. It's like, for me, it's like, it's just as bad. I'm like, well, that's what you meant. I know what you mean.
It's like the Louis C.K. joke where it's like, you're making me say it.
Except every time they say the N-word, I'm like, well, now I'm saying it in my head.
Yeah, like, the N-word I can conceptualize, but ninja,
yeah,
it's forcing me to think it.
Also, feel like that's a Japanese thing. I don't know. Now you're mixing things, which is totally fine. We can mix anything. America is the melting pot. But I feel like it's just a little confusing. Yeah. Anyway, I love that. You're right. He is my favorite character. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Please, if you're making a movie and it takes place in the inner city, please let me be dumb white guy. I've been preparing for this role my entire life. I can do it, Manny.
Are Italians white?
People keep saying we are. I really prefer we weren't, but you know. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for questioning that. The other black people on the show, they question those things. Yeah. But you were like, I mean, they do a hard like no, but I'm glad you were at least entertained the idea.
Well, it's like you throw the word around so much when we're not on camera.
I don't know what you're talking about. Whoa. So what's the next scene? Oh, yeah. Jamie, Emily, and Lisa are having a barbecue at the construction site. Now, this is where Rory shows up.
I like how when Rory shows up, first thing he does is, like, take one of the kids playing basketball and just huck the ball across the court.
Oh, it was mean to that kid.
No. And if I've learned anything from anime, Rory has a tragic backstory.
We never really learn what it is.
I really want to know.
The only backstory we know is that he has some kind of history with Watson, and he was mean to Emily and broke up. Emily, she finds a rainbow.
Yes.
And instead of being like, holy shit, this isn't physically possible because they're optical illusions,
she dances
in the rainbow. And there's jokes that we can make that I'm not going to, so let's keep going.
Right. So Emily and Rory did have a discussion here.
Yeah.
And I think this is why I thought that they were brother and sister. They talked about how Emily loaned Rory a bunch of money, and she was disappointed in him for paying it back with drugs money. And I'm like, okay. And there seemed to be a picture of them together, but it looked like a family picture.
Oh no, that's later. I want to get to that scene because I know what that picture is and it's bizarre. But yeah, well, no, I've definitely known people who have given their exes a shit ton of money, and
well, yeah.
at least he paid it back. I'll give him that.
He tried to. She would have let him.
Well, yeah, I guess at that point you're complicit if you accept it.
Yeah, but her exact quote is, "It would be stupid of me to take drug money." Or I don't know if that's the exact quote, but
It's
I'm not
something
going
like
to read my notes.
But then, even though they're in like the city and whatnot, she falls into a hole and it reveals secret tunnels. And I went, secret tunnels in the city? Only in the movies, Manny.
Oh, yeah.
Only in the movies. But yeah, Rory goes to get help to get her out of there. But while she's down there,
she finds a bunch of tunnel gold.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you. I like to apologize if that previous segment had a lot of obvious cuts. You know, other people have black people on their show and they're talking about like, you know, being progressive and all this stuff, and you're just throwing out slurs.
It's the name of a race of people.
Okay.
No person is a slur.
But after she takes the gold, the leprechaun comes back.
Okay, I have a serious question for you.
Okay.
Is the gold a metaphor for drug money?
Maybe in this film.
Because, like, the gold comes with consequences. No one does what they're supposed to do with the gold. And she finds the gold immediately after saying, "It would be stupid of me to take that."
Yeah. Actually, good point. I didn't really piece that together. I think for this film it is, yes. Before it's just like, that's me gold. Give me my gold back. But no. I think for this film, that's like the whole message, like you don't accept blood money or whatever, because it'll come back to haunt you. Even though the real world doesn't really work like that. But yeah, the leprechaun escapes. He's coming for that gold. Then they do a buying stuff, spending montage. They're getting new cars. They're getting fancy hairdos.
Those stuff that people spend drug money on.
It reminds me of Goodfellas. When they're like, don't buy anything big. And then he comes back, he's like, I got the most expensive tree they got. And then later on, they have to kill all the people who spent the money to like eliminate who they know. Like guy in the meat locker with the big fur coat. I should review Goodfellas at some point. Anyway, Jamie throws a big party and the leprechaun interrupts and he gets high with one of his friends.
Yeah.
By the way, Jamie has his bong from the 4th grade.
It explains a lot, but I mean, my friend who loves Leprechaun in the Hood, I think also has a bond from the 4th grade. So it is accurate to the Hood. And not the one I wear.
Yeah, so he gets way too high with one of Jamie's friends, and then he like falls over because he's so stoned. But the gold, because I guess Jamie gave the guy a piece of gold, the gold snaps him out of his high.
Well, the guy stole Jamie's gold. He like
right, he stole it. But the leprechaun, he like stabs the dude with the bomb. We also find out at the party that Emily is super jealous of Rory's girlfriend. They do the whole thing where they're having like a dance off. It's not even like a full on dance off. Emily comes up and like dances for like a second and then leaves. And then we get the E.T. scene. Remember the scene in E.T. where E.T.'s drunk?
Yeah.
You know E.T. with C. Thomas Howell, the star of Soul.
I haven't watched E.T. since it came out.
Okay, well, in that movie, E.T. gets drunk and he's walking around the kitchen and the mom doesn't notice it. She's like bumping into him. They do the exact same thing in this where he's just constantly getting hit with the drawer. He like falls in the refrigerator at one point. I like that weed affects him so much.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even weed. It was, you know what it was.
What?
It was all the clovers in the
right.
Because, I mean, he was smoking that kryptonite.
You're right. So yeah, they find the dead body and they call the cops. So the cops come, they steal all of Jamie's weed, and he tries to pin it on the Italians. He's like, my mom's Italian. That's oregano. It's like, don't throw us under the bus, buddy.
The cops should have tested that weed. It probably was oregano.
But then, so Lisa hasn't cared about Jamie once, but now that he's going to jail, she's suddenly in love with him.
Yeah. That sounds like sound lady logic.
Likes those bad boys, I guess.
Yeah.
Likes those bad boys. Rory's girl has a piece of the gold she steals from Rory, and she melts it down to be a gold tooth, and she thinks it looks good. Did it look good to you?
No.
Yo, it looked really weird.
Also, just buy a normal tooth.
She wanted to look, it's like, and it's like right in the front, so it looks even weirder.
Well, you know how some people like to spend their money to just look flashy. I wonder if Kanye still has titanium in his teeth right now.
What is going on with that? Jesus. Feel bad that I voted for that guy. Had I known how unstable he was.
Well, I don't regret it. I'm probably going to do it again.
I mean, I definitely won't. Okay. So now that, Rory has a bunch of gold, he's selling a bunch of stuff. Watson and Cedric are pissed. Rory's taking their clients. He's stepping on their turf, as it's known. Did I say that right?
Sure. Is the drugs weed?
I think it is weed. I think it.
Because I wrote this down. There are no crackheads in the movie.
Well, this movie takes place in like 3 houses and then 1 street by like a river or something. And like, that's it.
That's more setting than Friday takes place in. Have they fit a crackhead into Friday? Like, I don't know how this movie wants me to feel about weed. Because on the one hand, it's like, oh, you're selling drugs, that's bad for the people. But on the other hand, when Rory buys, or when Jamie buys the trash bags full of weed, everybody's celebrating. He's the stone off the movie. He's my second favorite character.
After the white guy.
After the white guy. So I have really mixed feelings. Like,
so yeah, they're pissed. Emily is also upset. She has to massage that fat lady who's rude to her.
oh yeah.
So she's like trying to massage her. She's like, I gotta go get something. She leaves. The fat lady's farting like crazy. And Leprechaun gets a whiff of it. And he's like, I can take care of this lady. He starts massaging her. He gets real into it. He steps on her back and shit. And then I guess he gets over it and kills her. Then he attacks Emily, like attacks her in the salon, and then my least favorite scene, she cuts his eye out.
That was a cool scene. With a razor. Which
I don't like eye injuries.
I understand that.
Yeah.
It's not so much that he cut it out, she like shaved it out.
Yes, but then the eyeball's intact. I thought that was a little weird. I do like that it's still in him, and he runs after her, and it yanks him back. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yes.
So I love that she like figures out what's going on. She runs to her friends, and she's like, she's like, Rory, Rory and Jamie and all them. She's like, it's a leprechaun. We're stealing its gold. Now it's after us.
Yeah, instantly. She was like, the leprechaun killed, what's his name with the bond?
So I think I have to check, because again, there's a scene later on where she like flashes back to meeting the psychic, and the psychic burns her hair in the gold. And I'm like, I don't remember seeing that scene. I wonder if that scene would have been like right before this.
Maybe
I have to check what she's wearing, because this is like a weird. She just suddenly knows like she just believes everything and knows everything.
Yeah, I think in the back of her head, she knew that the gold was what the psychic was warning her about.
Yeah, maybe she pieced it together.
Yeah.
Then I don't know where they put that scene where she like burns her hand. I have to watch it. Back at home, Lisa is looking super sexy. And by that, I mean she's wearing a shirt that says super sexy. She's always showing off the midriff short shorts.
There was a lot of midriff in this movie.
Yeah, a lot of midriff
I appreciated that.
by girls who could pull it off.
No obnoxious silly billies.
Thank you, Priscilla.
None of these women who look like my baby mama.
You're gonna get a call after this and be like, Manny, I'm not uploading the episode.
At least, what was that movie we did last month? At least Soul Man is still out there.
Soul Man's gonna beat the test. You're gonna tune in the Leprechaun Back to the Hood. It's gonna be a completely different person. I'm like, gonna do it. Sorry, gonna bring Manny back. So she's looking super sexy, and she's hearing noises in her kitchen. She's like looking through the cupboards. They close them. Now they're all open. And the leprechaun pops out.
Yeah, I like that scene because that reminded me that it's supposed to be a scary movie.
Yeah, these movies have gotten less and less scary as time's gone by.
I'm usually not a big scary movie fan.
Yeah.
But her opening the cupboards, it was kind of scary. I was like, okay, the music's playing. There's definitely going to be a leprechaun in the cupboards. That's where they hide. And then it didn't happen. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then it happened. And I was like, okay.
But yeah, they fight on and off. She's trying to call Emily during this. And then poor Lisa, he punches a hole right through her stomach. And then her friends find her dead. They don't take it that well, as you would assume.
You think growing up in the hood, they see that every day.
It's the Ice Cube quote. They don't know, it don't show, or they don't care about what's going on in the hood. I've seen Boys in the Hood a lot.
Okay, I was thinking about the Cameron quote, which Rory reminded me a lot of Cameron in Paid in Full.
I never seen that one.
You need to, but he's. I feel like Rory's character was supposed to be Cameron because he's riding around on a bike the whole time, and it's before like DMX made bikes cool.
Gotcha.
And Cameron has this quote. It goes, "Just die every day, B."
We're going to review all these. But next Black History Month, let's just review all of these movies. I would like to talk about Boys in the Hood. I do like Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
And who can forget that other famous Ice Cube quote? Damn, there's snakes out there this big. That's from Anaconda.
I never saw that.
Oh, we got a copy of it here somewhere if you want to watch Anaconda. Never saw Anaconda? Oof.
I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Carrie Wer's in it. Jennifer Lopez. Anaconda's a fun time. All right. So they go back home, and Emily is like, we got to return all the gold to that leprechaun. It's the only way to stop this. And like, what are you talking about? We can't return the gold. That's our money. And Rory's like, I can't return it. I bought too many things. Yeah. But then it turns out.
Infinite money glitch.
Infinite money glitch. As you said, yeah, it turns out the chest will just make more and more gold.
Which, why is the leprechaun so stingy about if it'll just make more?
That is a good question. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a good point. I don't know why he's so upset about it.
It's because it's all drug money. That's really like, as soon as you're about to get out of the game, you're like, nah. I do need this money for one last deal.
One last one. I do like that. He's just like, they empty it and he's like, oh. And he puts the lid on and he goes, oh my God. He's doing like the best hand action there. So yeah, it regenerates and then they're walking around and then that's when Rory looks at the picture of him and Emily. And I think it's a prom photo.
Okay.
And he goes, I'm surprised you still have this. And she goes, it was only 4 months ago. And I'm like, wait, was the breakup 4 months ago or was their prom 4 months ago? Because both of them look a little too old for prom.
Damn. I just realized I spent that whole movie masturbating to a bunch of teenagers. I didn't realize they were teenage midriffs when I was watching it. It was hard to take notes with just one hand.
It turns out they're actually 10,000-year-old vampires, so it's okay, Manny.
Oh, I've seen anime.
So anyway, I assumed they were like early 20s, but that looks like a prom photo.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that meant their breakup was 4 months ago, because I just can't picture these as like fresh out of college or fresh out of high school kids.
Was distracted at the time. I did think it was a family photo. And that's why I was like, wait, these guys are brother and sister.
Yeah.
Which made the ending really confusing for me.
So then this is when she goes in the bathroom and she has the flashback to that scene we never saw of the psychic like grabbing the gold and it burns her. So yeah, Rory steals the gold. He gets out of there with it. And Emily has to face the leprechaun again. She's like, I don't have the gold. He's like, oh, I'm not here for gold. I'm here for revenge. Eye for an eye. Prop comedy.
My favorite type of comedy.
Will you go on before me? Will you be my warm-up act when I become a famous prop comic?
Anything for stage time.
But Rory saves the day. He comes back and he like runs over the leprechaun. So the leprechaun's like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm going to go confront Rory's girlfriend. And this girl has the right idea. Like the leprechaun comes in. She's like, oh, hold on. She pulls out a shotgun and starts blowing him away.
Yes.
But then she says, I'm gonna use ninja for this quote, even though that's not what it says. Goddamn crackers always breaking into ninjas' houses. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I haven't heard people complaining about crackers breaking into their houses, specifically black people's houses. Does that happen?
You've never seen an ADT commercial?
I've seen ADT commercials. I mean, I'm sure it happens. I'm just not aware of it. I just, this is a movie with a leprechaun, so I don't know how much I should believe.
I mean, the cops seem pretty corrupt in this movie.
Okay, cops, that would be a different thing.
They busted in people's houses a lot.
If she had said that, I'd be like, yeah, no, that checks out.
Yeah. I mean, you hear cracker, you think it's one of the more unsavory type white people. You know, not all white people are crackers.
Not all. I feel like if I said something very similar, this channel would get demonetized. I've seen that Chris Rock stand-up routine.
You've got your white people, and you've got your crackers.
And crackers are fucking it up with it. So he ends up ripping the gold tooth out of her head.
Not just a tooth.
Not just her tooth, also her bottom jaw. You ripped her whole mouth off. It's pretty violent.
Yeah.
Which I actually didn't mind. This movie's kind of light on the gore. I feel like this one and the previous one are kind of light on the gore.
Yeah, this one, it was rated R, but it felt like a kid's movie.
Well, the first one is definitely like that. I feel like the first one might have almost been PG at one point, and then they added some gore. But like in 4, like a guy's head got flattened like a pancake. It was pretty brutal. Emily and Rory, they fight a little bit more, and then some cops come and chase them and cuff them. Then the leprechaun arrives. Now he's got to deal with the popo, as they're known as. Am I educating you? I do like this part where the cop's like, oh, you want the gold because you're a leprechaun. And then he goes, and we'll just hand it over to you. And I like that the leprechaun goes,
I'd appreciate it.
Why don't you go home to your mama?
yeah, I appreciate it. Like, I feel like there's a world where if they gave him the gold, leprechaun would be like, all right, see you later.
Yeah, well, I was confused by the leprechaun's motives this whole time.
He just wants gold.
Okay, but after Emily, or whichever one's still alive,
Emily,
it says like, I don't have your gold. He's like, I don't care about that.
Okay,
I
I mean,
revenge.
Gold is his main motivation, but he is also a murderer. So if he can kill a few people along the way, why not?
It feels like anyone who touches the gold, that's licensed to kill. He cares
Pretty much.
more about the murder
Yeah.
than getting the gold. Because there's multiple scenes where people will leave the gold somewhere,
Yeah.
and he'll still chase after them.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. That is a bit of a flaw, isn't it? So yeah, he fights the cops. He stabs the one, and then he cuts the other's leg off.
Well, the one whose leg he cut off, I didn't know that they teach cops Taekwondo.
Okay, I have it in here. The one cop was definitely probably like a stuntman or a fighter. That was a little bizarre.
He was doing Joe Rogan style.
I know, right?
It's like, oh, wow, he really got his glued into that.
So Emily and Rory get away. And the leprechaun has a car, but how will he drive it? We'll find out soon. Emily and Rory, they grab Jamie, but Watson's gang stops them.
Yes.
Because they're pissed at Rory. He took too much business from them. But then the leprechaun, I do like the leprechaun shows up in the car, and then he puts the cop's leg because he used the cop's leg to drive.
I didn't put that together when I was watching, but now it makes sense.
Which is weird because we know he can teleport. He did it earlier in the film. Why does he need a car sometimes?
Well, also, a question that, or a thing that Watson says to Rory is, you need to stop smoking your own shit. Which, is it weed?
I don't know. I mean, in Scarface, they said, like, don't get high on your own supply, but...
That was definitely cocaine.
Yeah, that was 100% cocaine.
I mean, it
Yeah.
could still be meth.
I think it's
Could
just
be
weird.
crack. But
Look, I know it's more relaxed these days, but I feel like this is a lot of crime for weed. Well, I don't feel like weed warranted this much violence.
And it's also the cops, when they arrested Jamie earlier,
Yeah.
like they knew he had big bags and they were fine with it.
Yeah.
And but then it's but then they're tracking Rory and Watson's movements as if it's. I know I should have let this go a long time ago.
Yeah. I do have a problem with it. Well, one, the funny part about this scene is like right before about the showdown, like Watson's girlfriend calls him. He's like, okay, I love you, baby. Okay.
I like that also oh, no, this is after the showdown.
Yeah,
what I'm thinking
we're
of.
almost there. We're almost there. So yeah, Watson. This is the second. They literally just did this one scene earlier, but then Watson says basically the same thing the cop said, where he goes, "Oh, you're a leprechaun. Oh, and I was supposed to give you the gold." I'm like, we just did this scene. But yeah, he tries to fight the leprechaun, and the leprechaun learned a lesson from Jason in Jason Takes Manhattan. I don't know if you ever saw Jason Takes Manhattan.
As you know, I've seen every movie.
Well, just spoiler if you haven't seen that one. He's not in Manhattan for very long. He doesn't get there till the end of the movie. We've actually reviewed it on the channel. But the one black guy, I had to point it out. The one black guy, he's like a boxer, and he thinks he's going to take on Jason. So he punches Jason over and over again, much like Watson keeps fighting the leprechaun. And in both cases, the guys just get way too tired. Jason punches that guy's head off and it goes into a dumpster. Leprechaun just like, I don't know, he like just stabs this dude or whatever.
I think he punched a hole in his stomach.
Or something like that, yeah.
I noticed that they have a lot of gut shots in this movie.
Yeah, they ran all in on like the gut shots and just like, yeah, again, not a lot of cool kills. Cedric and them just shoot the hell out of him. Falls to the ground, but then he gets up and says,
Where's me gold?
no, he says, sup, my ninjas.
What's up, ninjas?
Yeah, so he like pops up. He kills Cedric. He like slits his throat. They get away. And I like that the leprechaun is underneath the car.
Yeah.
But luckily this car's got hydraulics. They're like going down the street, like hydraulicking, just to knock him off. He's like, ah! So he falls off and they get away. And the leprechaun, he hears Watson's phone.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, let me answer it. And that's when he gets Watson's girlfriend. She's into him at first. He's hyping himself up, but unfortunately, she's not into the short kings.
Nope. Even though he makes up for it in other areas.
Not good enough. Remember, if you're short, no woman will want you.
But
And I think my friend Kit Osborne knows that better than most people.
I was gonna say, but based on the way that the psychic lady reacted to thoughts of the Leprechaun, because she's psychic, so she got the full picture, and she was into it. I also like how the whole movie, the Leprechaun's all about his money.
Yeah.
He's all about his gold and revenge. And the second a random piece of strange presents itself, he's like, yo.
Well, he basically became a pimp in the last one. He had girls all over when he got like his magic whistle back. So yeah, they go to the psychic's house and they're asking her for advice. And I like the guy who's like, what about my dead wife? And they're like, she'll be dead tomorrow. And they kick him out. She tells them the story from the beginning of the movie. It's like, yeah, okay, I know these characters don't know, but we know. So maybe let's speed this up. And they decide they're going to kill him with clover-tipped bullets.
But where will they get the clovers?
From that bud. And I like how they point out, it's like, why are you using a Glock? They always jam.
Yes, that was good foreshadowing.
Yeah, that was. Okay, so Leprechaun shows up. I like that they shoot him and then, like, his soul comes out of his body, like as little orbs.
Yeah.
I like both times, like you said, the gold is the most important thing to him. But both times he's about to die, he's like, oh, take the gold, just don't send me to hell. It's like, wow, he really gives up, doesn't he?
He's not about his shit. Another thing I wrote down, I think it was this point that I noticed it in the movie, but it was throughout. Jamie in the do-rag with the upside-down visor combo goes hard. That's a nice fit.
I'm sad he's not, like, in this finale as much. He gets taken out pretty early.
Yeah, and I'm also sad that he never played Cyborg in a live-action Teen Titans. Because when I saw Blue Mountain State, I was like, oh, that's a layup right there. And I'm going to use the Kill Tony platform.
No, I'm not Kill Tony. We've been over this. Not all Tonys, okay? I
will say Italian Tony, right?
Yeah.
So Kill Tony.
I will say the cyborg on the Doom Patrol show was pretty good, although I never finished that show. He was pretty good. Better than the guy from the movie.
I never saw Doom Patrol.
It was okay.
I also haven't seen most live-action DC.
That's fine. Well, I mean, you have seen The Dark Knight Rises, right? The best Batman movie ever made, because I'm in it.
That is the one movie in that trilogy that I did not see. But if I knew you were in it,
well, you know now.
I would have thrown away the whole franchise.
Wow. This is Manny's last episode. Manny's last episode. I can't believe you said that to me. You see that yellow bandana over there?
Yeah.
On the Christian Bale cutout? That's what I wore in the movie.
I'll look out for it when I'm not watching that movie.
Well, will you do me a favor?
Yes.
Will you at least watch the football scene from that movie?
The one where Bane comes in?
Yeah, I'm in that scene.
Oh, wait, I did see that movie. I thought you were talking about the first one.
No, Batman Begins, no. I mean, that movie's good, but I'm not in that one.
Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises. They're similes. You can see what, like, both titles mean the exact same thing.
Yeah, that is a little bizarre. We can talk about Batman another day. Yeah, so they shoot him with the bullets. He sucks his soul back in. He takes out Jamie. I think he hurts his leg or something. Yeah. And then the psychic decides she's going to use her magic to stop the leprechaun while Rory and Emily get away. Turns out her magic is not as strong as the leprechaun's magic.
Well, she only has 70% of what male magic is. Or it could be like that Egyptian god magic versus the old English mythological magic.
She should have used the magic when parts of his soul was out. He was a little weaker. She could have finished the job then.
woman actually finishing the job.
Jesus Christ, man. People think I'm bad. People think I'm bad.
I'm here to make you look good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tony has a black friend, guys.
So Rory shooting the leprechaun again.
Yeah.
But then his gun jams.
Could have seen that coming.
Who could have seen that coming? And then this is when the leprechaun is on the ground and he's got the green blood pool, which might be the exact same as the red blood pool, just colored differently. So he gets back up. Emily throws the gold off the roof, I think, right? Or she threatens to throw it off the roof.
Yeah. I can't remember what happened to the gold.
Well, I think she throws it to the ground, I think. Because then she goes down to the construction site. She gets into the elevator, and they're, like, fighting on the elevator. She somehow ends up to a furnace, and she has the gold in hand, and she tosses the gold into the fire, which shows that she is stronger than Frodo. Spoiler for Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
I haven't seen it, but I have seen that scene.
Yeah. Because
it's a famous gif. And I actually have tried to watch Lord of the Rings. I just fall asleep every time.
Well, you know what? Hopefully by the time this is out, the Return of the King episode is out. Instead of watching the movies, just watch all my reviews.
That sounds like a fair compromise.
There's an N-word joke in the first episode.
I can't believe you would let that slide.
We drank before this episode. So yeah, she throws the gold into the furnace, burning it. And then she tosses the leprechaun in there too. But as someone who watches these movies, that won't kill him. We find out because he's still alive. They somehow made it back up to the roof. He throws Emily off the roof and she's like hanging on. Rory finally unjams his gun and shoots him, and he falls into the wet cement with his gold, I think. Yes. Yeah, he falls in, and he falls in very slowly. Takes a long time for him to sink into the cement. Also, I don't think that's how cement, I don't think you can you could suffocate, but like cement doesn't just like automatically harden.
No. It hardens faster than you think.
Yeah.
But still pretty slow.
Well, they have to do it in layers.
Yeah.
If you pour like a whole thing in, it's just going to take a while to harden. That's what I heard.
Yeah, well, at this point in the movie, I was just fantasizing about ways to kill the leprechaun. And if you were to trap it in a block of cement, would it be stuck? Would it teleport out?
No, he can teleport. That's the weird thing. Unless it's wrought iron. Like, they put him in safes and stuff that are made of wrought iron, and that'll keep him in.
Okay.
But, yeah.
What if it was, like, clover infused?
Oh, well, if you have a clover, because the first one, he's in a box, but there's a clover on the box.
Yeah.
And that's enough to weaken him.
How'd he get out of that?
A guy picked up the clover or moved the clover.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I really wish that there was a way to keep the money.
Well, I think they do, I guess, because now we have the epilogue and our lovers are like driving away and now they're hanging out. And guess what? The youth center was built and Jamie's there playing basketball with them. And it's a happy ending.
So I remember the scene where they kissed and I was like, okay, they're definitely not brother and sister. And then I'm pretty sure I turned the movie off. The epilogue came after the end credits?
No, this was right before the ending.
Oh, well, I was not sticking around.
So, Leprechaun fell in the cement. You're like, I'm good from here.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was like, and we end on some incest. And that was the movie. I didn't know that there was a happy ending. This whole time I was making jokes about how they never built the community.
No, they eventually do. It's at the very, very end. And then the book closes and it says the end. And that, as the book is closing, there's a little animation of the leprechaun's hand coming out saying like, he'll be back. He never comes back. And that's Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Now, the first movie I think is funnier.
Okay.
This movie, I think, has a better script, surprisingly, and it's shot a little bit better. Neither of them are great. I'm not super into the Hood ones. I'm sorry. Joanna Man's in the fourth one, and he's better than everything.
Marlon Wayans?
No, Miguel Nunes Jr. That's Joanna Man. It wasn't.
I didn't see it when it came out.
Anyway, he's also DJ in the Street Fighter movie. Yeah, this one I don't like as much as the other ones. Usually after 4, I kind of start to tap out, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
What did you think? As someone who jumped in blind to the Leprechaun franchise, one of its endings.
Well, I've seen a few Hood movies. I've seen a few, and when I say Hood movies, I mean like not movies about the Hood, but movies filmed in the Hood. And I've seen a few like horror movies that were like not Juice, because that's my favorite horror movie.
Okay.
But acting was better than the average Hood movie and the average horror movie. So it was overall better than I expected.
Okay.
I wasn't fully interested. I liked the guy who should be Cyborg. Jamie kept me going for a lot of the movie. It really made me want to smoke.
Well, maybe that guy was Cyborg. He didn't know Sticky Fingers was Blade.
Yeah. Well, that could be true. Yeah, I like watching the whole movie. It made me want to smoke weed more than anything. It was a great stoner movie.
Yeah.
And it seems like a good thing to have on in the background. I'm pretty sure it has been on in the background.
Yeah.
In a few smoking sessions that I've had.
If there were ever any movies that didn't need a lot of attention paid to them, it's the Leprechaun films.
Yes. And here I was taking notes with one hand, jacking off to midriffs with the other hand.
You know who's in the first Leprechaun movie?
Say someone sexy.
Jennifer Aniston. I think it was like her first like starring role in a big movie, Leprechaun 1.
I said sexy.
Jennifer Aniston was cute, 90s.
Horse face.
Jennifer Aniston?
Am I thinking of a different
I
friend?
think you might be thinking of Sarah Jessica Parker.
Okay. Well, whatever bland white lady insult. I'm sure she's fine.
The girl in the third one was really hot, but she stopped acting afterwards.
Did she get into other films?
Not from what I can tell. The girl in 4 was the girl from, she was one of the Tool Time girls from Home Improvement. So, Manny.
Yes.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. I know that you invited me on the Leprechaun in the Hood movie because of my background.
Yes.
I was born in the United Kingdom.
Yes.
So
that's exactly why I brought you here. Now, have you met like real Irish people? Is the Leprechaun a good representation of them?
Well, all the Irish people I've met are filled with hatred.
Oh.
And short.
Oh.
So, yes.
And they can do magic. Manny, where can we find you?
Instagram.com/Manny Muskets. X.com/Manny Muskets. Patreon.com/The Man Pad.
You gotta listen to the Man Pad.
Yes.
And
it is good by now.
I'm sure since the last episode we filmed, it's still going. You've had me on as a guest. We're all best friends. And yeah, please like, share, subscribe. I hope you have a very good St. Patrick's Day. We have one more Leprechaun film left. I know you guys are probably thinking, what about Leprechaun Returns? I reviewed that on Cinemasker many years ago. But yeah, next.
Run it back.
Huh?
You can run it back.
I think I said everything I needed to say about that one. Sometimes I've revisited some episodes, and other times I'm like, I don't really have much more to say about it. Go watch that old video. Yes, next year it'll be Leprechaun Origins. I'm not looking forward to it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.